Dogecoin is making us money. Let's get this cryptocurrency trade update underway here. This is now the third week in a row I've done this. And as I've said with the past couple videos, this is still a new idea, new concept, seems to be very well received. But if you do enjoy this type of video where I'm giving trade ideas, walking you through them week by week with updates, then the easiest way to communicate that to me, hit that like button, leave a comment down below, even if it's just a thumbs up emoji. But those two things communicate to me that, yeah, Clay, do more videos like this. It is well received. But then also from my lawyer, I am just some person on YouTube. So this is not, advice. This is not, I'm not telling you what you should do. All I'm doing is throwing out some ideas, giving you my thoughts, and you can take and do with them whatever you see fit. But I'm not licensed. I'm just a moron on YouTube, okay? So with that legal disclaimer out of the way, Dogecoin, Dogecoin, whatever I don't even know how to pronounce it, okay? Some of you are giving me a hard time in the comment section. And well played. I don't know how to say it. I don't care how to say it, but that's how day traders are, right? We're not here to pronounce things right. We're here to make money. We're here to manage our risk, and that's exactly what's been going on here. So Dogecoin, Doge, Dog, whatever, is doing fantastic. In fact, as of right now, the recording, and I should also note by the time this goes live on Monday, yeah, things will have changed a little bit in terms of how the chart looks, but overall, my idea is just kind of keep this as a general thing so that whenever, whatever the chart looks like when this goes live for you, you can have an idea of, what you should maybe be considering. But better yet, hopefully you know how to do all this on your own, because that's the ultimate goal here, is here to learn how to be 100% self-sufficient. But as of right now, the price is doing battle right at that trend line here. And this will mean a little bit more to those of you if you've watched the past couple videos. And I'll actually put those links down below. So if you want to see this all in the sequence, the previous two videos, it'll make a little bit more sense. But that trend line has been there from the beginning. And wouldn't you know it, the power of charts. Isn't that amazing? The thing was going up. And then look where it started to go sideways, right at that trend line. So the question here becomes, all right, is it going to actually be able to break through that trend line? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Now, people can think, people can have opinions, but as far as nobody knowing, no, that's just not how the market works. So the question now becomes, should you be locking in some more profits? Maybe so. I wouldn't call you crazy at all. Now, last week we talked about a video doing, if it could get up to 30 cents, then it might be wise to take some off the table, because if we were risking 10 cents, which was 50%. Once you get up to that 50%, might be wise to take some off the table. So just to keep this and the math as easy as possible, let's say you bought 100 coins. So maybe at 30 cents, you took off 25, maybe you took off 10. I don't know, but you just locked in some profits just to make sure that you're pulling some profits up as the price went up, like, a good trader would. Well, now we're at this situation where it really comes down to, what do you think is going to happen? If you're unsure, then definitely lock in some more profits, right? That's what I would think and I would do, is if you're unsure, I don't know, is this going to break out? Is it not going to break out? Well, if you're not sure, and again, let's just take off the math. So if you started with 100 and you've already taken off 25 at 30 cents, well, and I'm not trying to insult anybody's intelligence, just showing you how easy the math is. Well, now you're at 75, okay? So if you're at 75, you got plenty of wiggle room. Maybe take off another 25 right here. So right there, you take off another 25 and you're still left with 50 coins. And think about what you've done. Let's say that the price ultimately does just kaboom, up it goes. Well, that's fantastic. You still have 50 coins. Let's just say something crazy happens and the price just gets destroyed. Well, who knows? Well, at that point, at least you sold some up there. That's better than having sold nothing and then have something crazy happen against you, right? So that's one thing that you have to weigh out. And it really just depends on how strong in your conviction are you? If you think, no, Clay, this is for sure breaking out. Okay, well then I wouldn't take any off the table. If you're just not sure, then okay, take off some more profits, because there is a very real possibility that maybe this trend line rejects it back down, and you just never know. But even if you're taking some off up here around 35, 36, I mean, you're at what now? 75% gain? Not bad at all. Not bad at all, especially when the risk was only 50%, right? As I said in video 1, you had to be willing to risk half of whatever you were putting in. So now if you're actually making 75% of what you put in when you're only risking 50%, that's a very, very good risk reward now. Now you're starting to put together sustainable habits and plan over the long haul. And then the other thing that needs to be factored in here is, do you want to make this a for sure winning trade? And what do I mean by that? Well, what do we want to do from the risk management perspective? Now, in the previous video, I talked about how you could move your stop loss up to 20 cents because that was the original entry point, meaning at worst case scenario, it's a break-even trade. But now think about it. Because we got more separation, you could very, realistically move that stop loss up to 25 cents, keep it down below that area of support. And now what are you looking at? Worst case scenario. Think about this. Worst case scenario, you're making 25%. That's not too bad. That's what we call peace of mind as traders, right? When you know that the absolute worst situation is you make 25%. Okay, now we are talking. Again, this all goes back to what is your personal thoughts? What is your personal plan? Maybe you're saying, no, Clay, I don't want to move my stop loss up there. I still want to keep it down here. I want to keep it down at the original spot. Okay, that's fine. I'm just, like I said, throwing out my ideas, and you can take them, as a grain of salt if you want. Because again, I'm just a moron on YouTube. But like I said, now that's something else that you want to be. Okay, how do I protect the downside here? What do I want to do from the downside? Because you never know. If this thing all of a sudden just goes crazy to the downside, and you don't have a stop loss, well, you're going to be very regretful. But if you do have one in, you'll be feeling better. But if it goes kind of down like that and just kind of has like a spaz attack and then, snaps back upwards, you're like, oh, well, why did I have a stop loss? But hey, you know what? Welcome to the tricky world of trading, right? When you look to the right and you don't know what's coming next, oh yeah, trading gets a little bit more complicated, unlike when and this is, I think I mentioned this last video, but this is why textbooks don't work, right? Because a textbook is going to look like this. A textbook's going to work like this. It's going to be like, oh, yeah. So I would definitely wouldn't have bought there. I'd have let it come back down here. I would have bought right there, and then it would have bounced back upward. So yeah, that's what I would have bought. Well, yeah, that's easy to see when you know what happens. But as you've seen over the past couple of weeks, I mean, this has all been documented when it's looked like this. When we don't know, when you look to the right, and when you look to the right and don't see anything, what is happening next? I don't know, which is why if you're unsure about this trendline battle that's going on, well, you might want to pull some more off the table. But again, don't pull everything off the table, because if you were to pull everything off the table, meaning you remove your entire position and then this thing explodes, you're going to be sitting here saying, oh, whoops. No, I get it. If it goes back down, you're going to be saying, boom, nailed the top. I'm glad I got out of everything. Okay, and that's true too. Maybe that is the right decision. But if you're anything like me as a trader and you don't know what's coming next, well then you might want to consider pulling some off the table, but that's all a matter of, like I said, conviction as in terms of that trend line right there. So that's where things currently stand, and really it's just a question of, do you want to guarantee yourself a winning trade? Do you want to just still guarantee yourself a break-even trade by just moving your stop loss up to 20? Do you want, and how much profits do you want to be taking off? But as of right now, the trade plan is working beautifully. It came down to our entry point. It has now bounced up to the top part of this trend line here. And now the big question mark going forward, this is where I started. This is where I'm going to end. What's going to happen with the trend line? Are you going to get continued breaking out? Is it going to pull back? Is it going to roll back over? And it could roll back over and then, go the second time. So I'm not saying if it pulls back, then it's never going to go back up again. I'm just saying those are the questions that you need to be running through your head. And, that's going to dictate, if you take some profits off the table, how much profits you take, where you're going to adjust your stop loss to. Because remember, our primary goal as day traders and swing traders is always protecting risk, always thinking about risk. What happens if things go wrong? So you're going to want to factor that in your decision-making process also. But that's the current update. And again, like I said, if you enjoy these types of videos, then let me know. And you can let me know very simply. I think I'm supposed to say smash that like button, and then also comment down below, even if it's just a thumbs up emoji. And you can just type a period, right? Period, submit. All I want to see is interaction with these videos, and that communicates to me that I'll keep this trade updated for as long as possible, and then maybe do some new trade ideas here in the future. But like I said, I'm always looking for feedback from you as viewers, so communicate that to me. And then also, if you are new to these videos, new to the channel, I'm not going to ask you to subscribe. I think that's always kind of goofy when people are like, hey, you've watched 2 minutes of my video, subscribe to my channel. I don't know. But I will ask, hey, if you like this video, check out the channel as a whole, and hopefully you like what you see enough to ultimately then hit the subscribe button, as I would love to have you as a subscriber to the channel. But yeah, Dogecoin, Dogecoin, whatever you're supposed to call this stuff, it is making us money. And as traders, we like to make money. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only one losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.